All right, so we're going to talk about two-step equations, and we're just going to go through two quick problems, and that is all. And then I'm going to allow you guys to kind of do a little bit of exploration on your own. So a couple things with two-step equations. First of all, remember when we solve a two-step equation, we're still following SADMEP, okay? Our goal is to get the variable alone on one side of the equation. So we're still going to follow the same rules we did when we were solving one-step equations. The difference is now we're going to have to do two things and then the variable is going to be by itself. Hence the term two-step equations. So here's a given problem. We have 3 times x minus 12 equals 15. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to solve this step by step. So we start by writing out the equation. And when we look at this, we realize that SADMEP, this acronym, kind of gives us the step-by-step direction we want to go in. So the S and the A, they always go together, kind of like with PEMDAS. We had the A and the S together. Now it's the S and the A together. And they stand for the subtraction or addition. So any subtraction or addition in this problem needs to be undone with the opposite operation. So when I look at my problem, I have 3x minus 12 equals 15. So that means minus 12 needs to be canceled out. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get negative 12 or minus 12 to equal 0. So we undo it with the opposite operation. Minus 12 can be undone with a plus 12. So we're going to add 12 on both sides. So by doing this, the 12s disappear on the left, but to keep our equation balanced, we're adding it on the right-hand side. So we're going to be left with 3x equals 27 because 15 plus 12 is 27. And 3x plus 12 and minus 12, these cancel out, is just 3x. So now there's no more subtraction or addition left. So we go to the next part, dm. Division or multiplication. Again, we want to undo this with the opposite operation. So the 3 is being multiplied by the x, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So instead of times 3, we want to divide by 3. And again, we're going to do this on both sides to keep our equation balanced. When we divide by 3 on both sides, 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 1 times x is x. 27 divided by 3 is 9, so we find a solution that x equals 9. And we did this by going through SADMEP. Now you might be asking, what about the e and the p? Well, the e stands for exponents, and we didn't have any exponents in here because nothing was squared or cubed, meaning to the second power or to the third power. And we'll get into those eventually, but we're just not there yet. And then parentheses, we've dealt with these a little bit. If you remember, we did some distributive property, and there's the other part of that is called factoring. And we'll get to that again a little bit later. And you've done some of this already, but we're not going to work with any of this right now. So it's still there. We still remember SADMEP. However, we're only going to be focusing on the S and the A, and then the D and the M part. Okay, next problem. Negative 5x plus 17 equals negative 28. Now I wanted to throw this in there. Two reasons. Number one, we're dealing with some negatives. And for some of us, that becomes a problem because our mind instantly thinks, oh, this is going to be really hard. But I think you're going to find that it's not as hard as you realize. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by writing down the equation. Negative 5x plus 17 equals negative 28. Now, again, we're going to just follow SADMEP. So I'm looking at the addition. And the addition tells me that I have a plus 17. So if I want to do the opposite of plus 17 is minus 17. So when I subtract 17, 17 minus 17 is 0. So I'm going to be left with a negative 5x on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, I have a negative 28 and a negative 17. Now, my rule for negatives is that if we have two negatives, they're going to add and keep the sign. So negative 28 and negative 17 becomes negative 45. So negative 5x equals negative 45. Now, I took care of the subtraction addition. Now I'm ready to do the multiplication or subtraction and addition. Now I'm ready to do multiplication division. So the negative 5 is being multiplied by x. So again, I'm going to divide. I'm going to divide by negative 5 on both sides. Now in doing so, negative 5 divided by negative 5 is again 1, and 1 times x is going to be x. So I have successfully isolated the variable by itself on the left-hand side. Now on the right-hand side, negative 45 divided by negative 5. Got to go to my integer rules. Anytime we divide two negatives, the negatives cancel and becomes positive again. 45 divided by 5 is 9, so I should expect my solution to be x equals 9. So hopefully this was a great way to help you understand how to solve two-step equations. You're going to have a little bit of practice in class, and then hopefully we'll have a pretty good grasp on it, and we'll be moving forward.